The recess has ended. Good morning and welcome to this regular session of the Grant County Commissioners. It's Tuesday, January the 20th, 2026 at 10 a.m. The prayer will be led by Mr. Stewart, the Pledge of Allegiance by myself, if you would stand.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful cold day. We thank you for all your blessings. We all have issues in our life, but we are ultimately blessed beyond measure. Please be with all the decision makers, department heads, managers. Give us wisdom, discernment, and be with everybody in this room as they go about their day. We thank you and we love you. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We're going to do things a little different today. We've decided to change the commissioners' process, and we're going to go to a consent agenda, which we took action on at the last regular meeting. So under consent would be the pre-approval of claims, all the claims and payroll, the minutes from the regular session of December the 15th, the regular session January the 5th, executive session of January the 5th at 9:05 a.m. and at 11:06 a.m. No questions or comments. I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion that we approve all the items listed on the consent agenda as you just presented.
I'll second that. I have a motion from Mr. Stewart, a second from myself to approve the items on the consent agenda. Pre-approval of claims, all the claims, the payroll, and the minutes as stated. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll move on to the monthly and annual reports from 2025. The 100R and the financial reports have been received. And then we have Monroe Township Trustee Township Association Standards and Guidelines.
Mark that as received.
Mark that as received as well. We'll move on to communication and board updates. The EMA report.
Good morning.
Jackson. Good morning.
A couple crazy days. We were busy yesterday with the snow and the cold and blowing. I'm sure Mr. White has a report on that as well. Super job by them. The northeast part of the county was hit pretty hard yesterday with blowing and drifting snow. So appreciate all those efforts. Today, big improvement. So things are looking better, and we will probably lift the travel advisory later this afternoon. After I have a chance to talk with Mr. White, make sure we're all good. I do want to remind the public also that if you are having issues with the cold or you need a place to go, the normal warming centers are open, which are the Grant County Rescue Mission, St. Martin's Community Center, their normal working hours, and the Grant County YMCA, their normal working hours as well. And if you have other issues, you can call 211. And they can, all kinds of different assistance is available there. So that is an option for you. Any questions?
I know it's early in the week. I've been seeing online a big snowstorm heading our way this weekend. Are you hearing anything, or maybe Mr. Hicks?
So we do get regular updates from the National Weather Service. I expect a briefing this afternoon, and then our normal procedures are really to get our guidance from them. We also work with Indiana Michigan Electric. They have their own meteorologist, so all those conditions we'll be on top of that as we move forward.
Great. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Up next, we have Mr. Hicks, the Central Dispatch Report.
Good afternoon. First of all, we have 17 dispatchers We have 2 that are testing this week, 1 tonight, 1 tomorrow afternoon. I don't know if I said this at our last meeting or not, but I sent 2 dispatchers to our EMD training and our night shift trainee on her first day back in the comm center following EMD class. Her very first call that she took was a medical call. Used EMD. It was a cardiac arrest, and she used EMD and was able to get a pulse back. So that was a job well done on her behalf. So,
Fantastic.
it is well worth the hassle. So, I'll get back up here. So as we look back to last year, people clicking to this. It's not clicking. We processed over 100,000 calls, telephone calls. There were 706 landline calls. There were 26,545 cellular calls. There were 14 TDD calls and 533 unknown calls. And then we processed 92,111 administrative calls in and out. Next. Text to 911, we received 584 text messages and we made 1,985. Now, any 911 call that comes in that's abandoned from a cell phone, we do text back just to confirm that they are okay and don't need any services. Those calls that we received resulted in 110,359 police calls, 7,625 fire calls, 13,230 EMS calls, and Central Dispatch processed 7,785 calls for a total of 138,999 calls for service last year handled by Grant County Central Dispatch. Our radio system was quite busy last year. The top 5 or 6 talk groups are listed there. Our Grant County Law Dispatch channel, which encompasses all of our law dispatch except for the city of Marion, processed over 631,000 transmissions last year. Marion PD made up 510, almost 511,000. Our fire EMS partners, 292,000. Marion Fire was 83,000. Marion Health Police Department was 78,000 transmissions on our system last year. And County Highway, they came on our system early spring of last year, and they were 26,594. Our grand total of system-wide, including those that are not listed here, was 1,890,259 transmissions on our radio system last year. It was up 90% of the time, down only for maintenance, and we had 1 system failure with a GPS, which threw the timing off. But other than that, it's been up the entire year and quite busy. I tried to go back and get 24 numbers, and they were not available. So from this point forward, we'll have them. Do you have any questions about last year?
I don't.
All right.
Well done.
Thank you.
A lot of calls. We'll move on to Mr. Elliott, the IT report.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Yep, so one item I got for you this morning is it was brought to my attention that Purdue University Northwest is offering free training. So I would like to apply for it for my department. The training encompasses a few different fields. One of them is cybersecurity and the other is AI. So they're currently broke down into sessions. So session 1 already started today. So we would be on session 2, which would be, I wrote it down, it was March 30th. So it'd be a little bit of time before it would start. But it's free, it's no cost to the county. So just like your gentleman's permission, so that way we can, pursue it.
You might have mentioned it, but is it online? Is the training
Yes.
online?
Yes, it's online. So they have set times for when they do they have the class. However, if we can't attend it, they save them online so we can go back and check it.
Is it an all day? Is it an all day thing, or is it?
I don't believe so. No, I believe it's like a couple hours a day. So, yep.
Yeah, I should assume. Yeah. Yeah, you're good to go. Yeah,
Good to go.
Okay. Yep. And then the other item I wasn't able to get into your guys' packet. I'm just seeking permission for a change order for Superior Court 2. A couple weeks ago, they reported they had a buzzing sound coming out of their system. So while Forte was out here doing work for the other courts, I had them stop up and look. And there's a splitter piece that's gone bad, and it's basically feeding the buzzing sound through the courtroom. So we were able to get it to where the buzzing sound's gone. But in order to fully fix it, they gave me a quote for some equipment and services. And the grand total for that is $7,294.47. So some of that would come out of my contractual services item, and some of it would come out of my equipment budget.
Repeat that again. That's how much?
It's the grand total is $7,294.47.
And you have the funds you're saying to support that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, correct.
yeah, I have no issues. I don't know.
I don't think we need anything.
I think it's just by consent. Yeah.
I think you're good.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thanks again, gentlemen. That's all I have. Do you have any questions for me?
I don't think so. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Yep. Thanks so much, gentlemen.
We move on to item number 10, the Highway Department report. Mr. White? Morning.
Like Mr. Jackson said, we've been dealing with some weather the last couple days, and yesterday we kind of sent everybody up to the north end of the county just to try to get through it quickly with the wind and everything. Didn't have everything very much south of State Road 18. Everything was kind of up on the north end. So last week, I think that area got maybe an inch or two more than what the rest of the county did. So I think that was a factor in it. So we've been getting them all cleaned up, and like Mr. Jackson said, we'll probably lift the advisory this afternoon. So some other things I'm going to update you with is February 2nd's meeting. We got the fuel and stone bids that'll be coming in for the county highway for 2026 season. So I've got that all submitted. And then also I have
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
basically just the year-end report for the recycle center. All the customers came in. We had almost 17,000 customers that came in last year. And then just list all the products that we've kept out of landfills and everything else that we've recycled. Kind of our big one is the cardboard. We had over 100,000 ton of cardboard that went out. So we've always seemed like every year we keep getting more and more customers. So it's helping keep stuff clean and everything else. So just kind of update you on that process. So
I appreciate that.
How does this, did you have a chance to look how this compared to the previous year?
I think last year we had right around 14,000 customers. So, and the products, it seems like it's up a little bit more. I don't know if it's just because of the volume of people it's going through or whatever. So we do kind of advertise with a little bit with new homeowners. A lot of times when they close on their housing, we have ads on their paperwork that they kind of know that we have a recycle in the community. So if somebody's from out of town, they kind of get that first glance of where it's at and everything else. So we try to advertise on that to get more customers in. So
Okay, good.
it kind of helps fund the program. So next thing I was going to bring up is me and my staff met with a company called Analytics a couple weeks ago. This company basically does inventory on our roads and their conditions. I'll kind of give you this to read at a later date if you'd like to. And basically what this does for us is with our community crossing grants, we have to have a road inventory and condition rating. We call it PASER. And we have to do that every year or every 2 years. But we have to make sure that that's updated. This company here basically installs a phone on the front of your vehicle, and it goes around and you drive around and it keeps takes pictures every 10 feet, and it kind of then puts it in a software program that will then download when we come back to the office. It also does our sign inventory and everything like that, so we can keep our signs updated and where they're at and locations. So it's pretty expensive, and but I feel like in the long run, it's probably a better benefit for us, because then it also kind of, if we have a rating, say of a 4 or a 5, and maybe a chip seal process or a paving process, it kind of tells us which avenue we have to go with, kind of thing. I feel like it's a real nice investment, and I think it will save us some money in the long run if we're doing something that we shouldn't be doing on a road condition, that maybe we can use it at another location or something instead of like fixing something that don't really need to be repaired. So the company has gave me a contract for review. The price for the annual, and what you have to do is pay for the first 3 years, and then there'll be a maintenance fee afterwards. But the first price for the first year is $46,988.60. Like I said, I know it's quite a bit of money, but I mean, we're spending $2-3 million a year on a road maintenance. I think it's a good tool to have. And like I said, to get our community crossing stuff, right now we do everything by paper. And it's kind of, one person goes out and looks at it, might give it a 5, the next person might look at it and give it a 1. It's kind of on your own. But with this, it's all done by camera base. So it kind of scans that every 10 feet, takes a picture. Some other things that CR and I have learned, that we can get an app on our phone. So if we need to do a work order, we can just pin it right there, do the work order, send it all in. We don't have to go back to the office, write stuff out or anything like that. So I do have a copy for the attorney to review, see if it's something that I'd like to look at. If you guys are in favor of it, you could.
You said this 47,000. That's for year 1.
Yes.
But you have to do a 3-year contract
3 year, 47,000 basically for 3 years each year.
each year. Okay.
Yeah, and then there'll be an update after that. So,
And you have the funds to,
well, that's one thing I was wanting to say is I really don't want to make a motion today or anything. What I'd like to do is, if the contract is all right, I'd like to go to the council and ask for the money first to make sure that they're okay with it. And then if I can get it budgeted and the contract looks all right, then I'll come back if that's all right with you. But
So you'll be asking for about 140 some thousand.
I'll probably just ask for this year, 47,000, and put it in the budget for the next 2 years.
Okay.
That's what I'd like to do, so.
Okay.
Like I said, I guess my thing is, spend a couple $1 million a year on road maintenance and everything else. It's kind of gonna pay for itself. Like I said, if there's a reason we don't have to do a road and we can go do another road, I think it's gonna be a benefit for us, so.
So although that it's a 3-year commitment at first, you only have to pay for the first year,
Right,
and then next year you'd pay for 1 year and.
right,
Okay.
yeah.
So you don't have to pay for it all 3 years up front. Okay.
No, just 47,000 a year, basically.
Is there any other communities using this nearby?
Yes, I didn't bring that paperwork with me. There's Knox County. I forget now. This company is in 7 different There's 7 countries, 7 different countries, but they use like a local consulting firm to run through. So that's USI is the one that contacted us about it. They brought us a presentation out and everything else. They've got other communities in the county and the states that's using it here locally. So I think, what they say, they had 20 or 30 already signed up for it. So
I'm all for anything that can make our roads a little better. So
well, yeah, I was gonna say, and like I said, I think it's money well spent. We do have software program for our sign inventory. We spend about $1,000 a year to keep it updated because we take an iPad out and everything, take pictures when we replace signs and everything else. So we do keep that updated, but that would be one less expense too, because this would do that too. So
okay.
Do we need a motion to,
I think right now we're just kind of looking for the attorney to kind of give us
right. Yeah, I was gonna say,
I
if he can look at that and make sure that contract looks all right,
I
and
don't think
then
he's formally presenting anything.
I was gonna say, and I'll get it with the council and make sure, as long as you guys are all right, that I go to the council and ask for the funding. So
would the 46 a year cover the whole county, even in the cities potentially, or,
no, it would do the whole county. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was trying to think of, yeah, it would do the whole county. Because we have to do our PASER rating every 2 years, so.
I think Marion City uses something like this.
Yes, they do, but it's not this company. Yes, you're correct. And it was the same thing. We talked to Mr. Graff from the city. Theirs was pretty 50, 60,000 for their thing too, but it's just for the city limits, so.
Okay.
And like one thing they were saying is you can put culvert pipes and everything else in there. So you can pin it and you can add it to the inventory. So that's what we would like to do is in, the future. So instead of going out and trying to find where all the pipes are, we'll just put it in that system, and as we do them, and then they'll be in there. So pretty much you can put anything in, manholes, it don't matter, whatever you want to put in there. So.
Okay, sounds good to me. Yeah.
All right. Next thing I was going to bring up is we received our $850,000 DocuSign that $850,949.50 for the community crossing grant. I'm waiting on the state to sign their part and get it back, and then I'll get a contract to the auditor for her records. But we are working on getting the money for that. Last Monday, CR and myself went up and applied for the federal aid project for Bridge 712. There's a panel of 10 people that we were in front of, and so hopefully we hear some good news on that. They had one question, because it's a historical bridge. They wanted to know if we had the paperwork ready. We said we did, but we can't send it in until we got a DES number. So they gave me a DES number last week, and so we started that process of getting that submitted. So, I'd like to send 6 of my employees to Etnauer. That's the company that we got our distributor truck for in Illinois for training day on April 1st. That's all right. So, And then, I'd like to set up bid openings for the 2 bridges for the community crossing grant on our February 17th meeting, if that's all right, because I think 16th is President's Day, so want to advertise that and get that set up if that's all right. So, I also need to get your gentleman's signature for the bridge set of plans for Bridge 138 out on 1100 South. And this is just, so sign your name and I'll have Angie sign her name. And that's just when we do hand the bridge plans out to the contractors, they have a set of plans with your guys' name on it and everything else, so. Some other things I was gonna bring up is, we're supposed to be receiving our new mower, boom mower this afternoon that we purchased last year. And, I'd like to go to road school again, myself and CR and our foremans in March 17th to the 18th. If that's all right with you gentlemen. And then, I would like to send up our oil, liquid asphalt, and asphalt bids for 2026 on March 2nd's meeting, if that's all right. Is that all right?
Yep.
And then I think one other thing I wanted to bring up real quick is, I talked to Mr. Stewart. We kind of had a bridge in the town of Fairmount that was, it's not a bridge, but it's a small structure, but the bridge to the south the road to the south is a bridge, and 3 bridges north of it are bridges. So, I think it should be a bridge, and I've already had a company go out and look at it. And so, and I've already talked to the Bridge and United Inspection team that we can add it to our inventory. So, I'm hoping to get some numbers back on that, but I'm thinking we're gonna probably have to help the city of Fairmount out because, like I said, it should probably be on the bridge inventory. I even went back 20 years ago, thought maybe it got missed, but it never was. But I think it should be, and it's got a hole in the deck right now, so they got the street closed right now, so.
It's the road right behind the town hall.
Right.
Where the police is at.
Yeah.
Not a huge deal.
So if it's a structure, then the town of Fairmount would.
Right, it'd be their responsibility, and that's, I kind of looked on our bridge inventory, it wasn't on there, then I went to look on our structure inventory, but small structure, but if it's in the city limits, it's not ours, so it wasn't on there either, so, but like I told Mr. Stewart, I feel like there's 4 bridges within 5 blocks that are bridges, so it probably should have been a bridge when it was installed, so we'll get some more data back on that and then probably have to present you with something on that, so.
Okay.
Other than that, that's all I have, unless you don't have anything.
I don't. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the Health Department report.
We don't have anything to report.
Nothing to report. Thank you. The Veterans Service Office report. Mr. Kilgrim.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning, sir.
You should have a 1-pager from me.
I didn't have that.
Tried to make it by the suspense under the new rules. I wanted to discuss it with the county council, and I wanted to run it by y'all first. I've got a budgeted salary for my office, and I've got a planned salary for my office, and because of my particular situation, my actual salary will be much lower than the planned salary. So this is a proposal for the county council to hire a part-time individual without benefits to assist us in the office based on the workload I've seen in the last 9 months. I think the work is definitely there, and it shouldn't cost anything, but I wanted to let you all take a look at it, see if it looks okay to you. I've had my numbers checked with the auditor's office. They gave me those numbers, and confirmed everything on there is correct. They added the FICA, so the FICA cost is in there as well. So it should be no cost to the county. Wanted to run it by y'all first, see if it looks okay to you. I'll bring it up with the council at their next meeting.
You say it's a 1 year part-time position?
I just want to do it for the year, yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
so you
sir.
anticipate possibly it continuing, or
It
cross
could
that bridge when
for
we get to it?
maybe a second year, but I want to see how it goes first.
Yeah, I have no issue with it. As you're the department head, you can make those decisions, so.
Yeah, we support it.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll bring it up with the next council meeting then.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Any questions for me on anything?
No, I don't think so.
Thank you. We'll move on to item number 13, old business, health board appointments. I believe officially we need to appoint Jeremy Wilson to the health board. I believe that's all. Is that-
You have that document to sign?
I
I
have
think
it.
we do. Yeah. So is there a motion?
If the chair is ready for a motion, I'll make a motion that we appoint Dr. Wilson to the health board.
I'll second that motion. I have a motion from Mr. Stewart, a second from myself to appoint Dr. Wilson to the health board. If there's no other questions or comments, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. And I believe we're not quite ready for, we have one appointment, I believe, to the APC. But I would just entertain a motion like that I could appoint him.
I'll make that motion. Yep.
I'll second it. And motion is for me to, as president, to allow myself to make those appointments to the APC or BZA once the paperwork's ready. And I'll notify the members. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll move on to item number 14, new business, the county contract ordinance. Mr. Harker, I know may be under the weather, so I just entertain a motion to table this to the next meeting.
So moved.
I'll second that. Motion from Commissioner Stewart, second from myself to table item A, the county contract ordinance, till the next meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have item B under new business, Volt Strategies contract renewal. I believe Mr. Ormsby did look over it,
I did.
and your findings.
It's good to go from a legal perspective. There was one typo where 2026 in 2 places was not changed to 2027. So those can be struck and just 2027 put in the contract, but otherwise it is good from a legal perspective.
There's no increase in the contract, correct? Same.
Yeah, so the contract's with Volt Strategies. Currently, there's a couple different House bills the commissioners are working on with Volt Strategies currently. The total cost is $50,000 annually, and it ends January the 31st, 2026.
Which that should be 2027.
Okay, that's right.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion that we approve the contract with Volt Strategies.
And there is a 30-day out. This.
Correct. 30-day out without costs.
Okay. Yeah. I'll second the motion. I have a motion from Commissioner Stewart, a second from myself to approve this professional service agreement with Volt Strategies effective today, as far as February the 26th. Okay. Are there any other questions or comments?
Yes, sir.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll move on to item C, VW Construction. I'll turn it over to Dustin Frye with VW this time.
Morning.
Morning.
I got 2 things here.
All right, so what I've passed out here to you is the GMP estimate package for the Grant County Jail project. As y'all are aware, we've been working under a scoping agreement for the past several months to look into the potential renovation and addition at the D home, as well as some other options. So wanted to walk through this packet for you at a very high level, and then talk through the next steps. So the first part of this packet, you probably looks very familiar to what we presented back in, I think it was October, as it relates to an estimate update on the jail. So the base project is the renovation of the D home, including all new mechanical and electrical systems. And then the addition of a housing pod that would have approximately 352 beds. And then we have an alternate within this to renovate the existing housing pod that would be 46 beds that you could add to that, and still have the ability to go in and double bunk those to increase it to 92. So the first page 2, 3, 4 are kind of color-coded plans that show where we would be doing work. With the addition, heavy renovation work up where kitchen and laundry would be, and then some light renovation as it relates to mechanical, electrical, and so forth. Continuing through, one thing that we've, if you remember in our last estimate, we had, I think, 7 or 8 different alternates. As we've gotten more information and went to the subcontractor market with formally bidding this project, we've seen a positive impact to the bottom line. Numbers have gone down, and so there were some items that just seemed like they really needed to be a part of the project to make it a complete project that were formerly alternates, but the numbers for those were even less. So painting the exterior, for example, re-roofing the existing building, and then we had an alternate to leave the existing electrical infrastructure instead of upgrading that. This base bid now includes upgrading that based on the recommendation from DCCM on the electrical side of things, to give you the longest and best use of the building. Mentioned the D home housing, current housing pod as an alternate. And then we have some voluntary alternates because there's some hardware, detention related hardware in the existing building that we haven't been able to check out if it fully functions and other stuff. So there are allowances in our GMP, because I'm assuming we will have to replace some of that, but maybe not all of it. Page 6 is the updated GMP estimate. So there's a breakdown kind of by bid package summary there, our contingencies, and then our soft costs. And if you take out the existing scoping fee that we're working under now and say that's being paid separately, the total of additional money needed would be, for just the base bid, would be $56,580,000, rounding up. In that 56 million, there's still a little over 2.5, actually closer to 2.8 million of contingencies. And then from an owner perspective, you guys being the owner, we have some allowances in there that would go for additional work as needed. That total 1.5 million for owner changes in FF&E technology. So those are items that aren't yet fully defined may or may not need them. We try to provide a pretty comprehensive approach within our hard costs, but there's always something there. So still giving you kind of worst case there. So 56.58 would be the base bid for that option. Next page has a list of allowances that are in there. Allowances are for work that we know will take place, but we can't truly define the magnitude of it. We feel pretty conservative in our allowance, but ultimately if it doesn't get spent, should it get approved, doesn't get spent, it comes off that total and returned to the county. And then the alternate, as mentioned, for those additional 46 beds and to completely renovate that section of the building, that's another $5,236,000. Any questions to this point? Pretty similar to what you've seen. Cost is much better than what you've seen. We've got a project under the 60 million threshold that was originally asked about. The next several pages are just clarifications to the design documents. So the design documents are what we call 90%. There's still some minor details and some QA QC of those that would need to be done to be finished to submit for permitting, should we get approved to do that. These clarifications are from our partner Wygan as it relates to the bid packages, with just clarifying stuff that may not be fully clear in that 90% set of construction documents and technical specs. So I'm not going to go through all of those, but they're there for reference. Again, as you get into page 17, 18, 19, 20, same responsibility matrix that we've seen all along that just says who's doing what. Again, the areas that we would say are your responsibility, there's money tagged in this in an allowance that would cover that. Page 22, and it's really difficult to read with how it's copied in here, but that's a very detailed schedule as it relates to the project. This schedule is based on an approval of the BOT agreement at the February meetings. So, and then that process would look like an approval from commissioners for a BOT agreement, of which we've sent a draft of an example contract for review that we can dive in further as needed. And then it would include council funding the project, and then there's an aligned process of us finishing the design and permitting, releasing our construction teams to start negotiating final subcontracts while the project would be going through the funding timeline with the bond council and those guys. Couple of key, actually backing up a second, I don't need to go back in the packet, but a couple of key clarifications to note, because I know it's been a sticking point with some. This pricing is based on us going into a D home that's empty of people, not working around existing people working in it. So I've heard, depending on who you talk to, if that's possible or not. Ultimately, for us to give you the quickest timeline and the best price, we don't want people working in a facility that we're working in as well. Especially when we're talking about all new electrical infrastructure, chillers, boilers, and the like. It's not really going to be able to be occupied during construction. So just want to clarify that. Also, this is based on actual bids from subcontractors, and they will not hold their pricing forever. Typically, some of them are 30 days, some of them are 60. You might get 90 out of some. So if we continue to push out, there's some risk there, which is why you've seen one of the contingencies we still have is an escalation contingency to cover if any prices were to increase over the coming months. Page 25 is a snapshot of the logistics plan that shows kind of the aerial of this property, and you can see that we would be taking over the majority of it. There's the new housing pod is in blue right there in the center. It's a large addition. We would fence in the property. There would be some partial lane closures as we go throughout the project. Parking is something that we are still working through, but there's some parking around that we think can be utilized. So that's just a snapshot of what the site would look like high level. Any questions as it relates to that GMP? Okay, yes, sir. The next page, starting on page 26, is a couple months ago we had discussed, is an alternative option of building, not renovating the D home and looking at potentially building a new jail, not downtown. Page 26 is, we took, and Commissioner Shane, you'd asked about, are there existing jails that, we could look at that might make sense to streamline a design process and would fit what Grant County may need. And so our team, DCCM, or QW at the time, but DCCM now, and BW worked on the Hancock County jail that was in a similar situation as Grant County. Overcrowded, old building, downtown. And we looked at a number of options from them, and including expanding their existing adjacent to a property, building a new one in downtown, and then alternatively moving it out to what they dictate as the county farm, a property just about 2 miles outside of downtown. And we did that project, ultimately moving them from downtown into a new building. And I know we took, Shane, you toured it, a few of the council members toured it here recently to look at that. So we've taken that project and said, what would that look like on a site here? So page 26 shows that building laid out near the highway garage at Gas City, I believe. And then the next 2 pages are just the floor plans of that. As you can see, there's some gray out future admin area. So this doesn't accommodate the sheriff's office that could in the future be attached there, or building out a lot of space in the on the second floor between the 2 pods. But ultimately, in trying to comp this to current day, the current market, taking it on that site, and there's still a lot of unknowns with what that would look like. On a rough shot, high level, conservative approach, that project would just be just under 80 million. Now, I think there's a lot of opportunity within that, much like we've had pretty conservative numbers on the D home as we've gone through every stage. Depending on how you comp the number, looking at just basic historical information over the last 6 years versus comparing to some actual market information, it's a broader range in the low 70s to the upper 70s total project. So that's what we've put together here, is to show you what that option would look like on the site, the floor plan, and some information. Projected timeline on that is about 6 months longer than the renovation option. So because there's a design that's already done that just needs to be updated, plus full new civil, that's a little more streamlined. And then we have all the normal process from a construction perspective. Page 31 is an interesting analysis, and Sanjay Patel's here if we need to, he's the architect. But we ran a staffing comparison. So Based on the information we had received from Sheriff's Department, we believe the existing staff for your current jail is about 45 people. And so we said, what would it take to run the D-home as currently designed with the option we just presented? And then what would it take to run a new build, new greenfield option? Our projected staffing for 12-hour shifts on the new D-home in addition is 49. And then the new build would be 43 and a half. So I know there was some questions specifically as it relates to when we toured Hancock of, hey, the additional staffing that may be needed to run a facility of that size is actually opposite. It takes less because of how it's set up. So even though you have more space, the way it's controlled and managed, you can do it with fewer people. Again, we're not jail staffing experts, but we do enough jails to give that good information. It's typically pretty close. The page that I would turn to as I wrap up here is the last page. And so I'm kind of trying to take a comparison of the two options to give all the info in one page. You can see the bed count difference. Base bid, 352 beds for the D-home. The new build would be 469 beds in the base contract currently. Obviously, there's an option to add 46 on the D-home for some additional money. Staff needs 49 versus 44. Schedule, pretty close, within 6 months there. The price range, clearly a difference in the price, but at the same time, there's a lot more scope and flexibility. I believe in the new build, there's like 20,000 square feet of additional shelf space for future opportunity in the new option. There's a whole half of a pod that's not allocated to anything. It's just open shelf space to add future beds, add future programming, a whole different department of something there. It's all separated. There's the ability to add admin. So it's much more long-term focused from a county justice system and opportunity with the new build versus here. Price per bed, obviously more beds, less money. Future capacity, the current site here downtown, outside of building across the street somewhere or tearing this building down and adding on, there's zero capacity within that building. When we were done, would be done, you have no ability to add additional beds to that. The new option, you have an easy ability under the roof already to add 116 more beds should they ever be needed. Now, what we've seen in Hancock County was much like the Grant County situation. They had an extremely overcrowded jail in their downtown facility. They added a significant number of beds more. And since they've moved in and they've been able to implement the programming because they have the space and the ability to move inmates, their population has decreased from what it once was when they were downtown. So the other key point I wanted to compare was you don't have to relocate any county staff for us to build it. So all of those things have costs and things for you to consider.
Do you have any idea of, like, if you turn to page 28, this Hancock County copy didn't build out the whole second pod.
Correct.
So for every piece of the pod, how much would that reduce the cost?
That's a tough one to just give you offhand. Our average bed cost is about $153,000. That's not equivalent because that has all the other costs added into it. I could get you some info because I know we've recently, and I know Sanjay and them have some info where they've recently bid some pods in other counties and have pieces of pie as an alternate. So I think I could get you some of that info. It also depends on which side. So the left side of that plan is all dormitory space, more open, flexible, a little more freedom there. The right side is cells. the right side, typically on average, a cell bed is about 15 to 20% more expensive than dormitory space. So that's one of the options that we've talked about internally is, if the budget for a new build is more than you want to spend, but you pick the number where you want to be. And if we said, hey, could we take out a couple of pieces, reduce the bed count, still give you that future space and drive the cost down, that's definitely an option. It's a big facility, but it's well planned out for not just today's needs there, but also future growth and opportunity. And I think even the ability, as you could see back on page 26, not that hopefully it doesn't ever get to this, but you have the ability to add a whole nother double pod system attached to that, which is what we've seen in other counties. We've worked on Hancock, Hendricks, a few others. It's all planned for the ability that they could grow if needed. And hopefully the programs are able to help people so you don't need as much space. But unfortunately, criminals are here and they're going to continue to be here. So, any other questions on that?
Just repeat the next steps of the process.
Yeah, so next steps, we're going to come tomorrow to the council meeting and give this same presentation to lay out the options. Having listened to a few different meetings, I'm not asking for decisions today or tomorrow from anybody. We would like decisions because it's going to help spur it on, but these are not small decisions for the county. And so the next steps ultimately would be the commissioners need to pick a project. Do you accept the scope that we've been working on with the NEHOME? And we would enter into a BOT agreement, at which time the council would have to fund that, choose to fund it or not, right? Or do we go down the new build, in which we would probably have a small amendment to the scoping agreement, although we could go straight to a BOT agreement and put a guarantee cost in there that would come later. But you guys would have to, discuss and decide what you want to do. We would enter into contracts and then council has to fund it. And then there's the whole process after all of that for the bond side of things and us finishing design. So very simple terms of what needs to be done. And I know you guys, you've had some of this information I'd sent to the jail committee, but if you can make decisions sooner than later, that's fine. Ultimately, we are here to do whatever's best for you guys, the county.
I'd just like to make two real quick points. First of all, when I came into office in 23, the previous commissioners had a jail study done by a separate engineering firm. And I believe the price on that, they were talking about $110 million. No, this was 3 years ago. And so the reason I point that out is I want to give kudos to BW for sharpening the pencil, because we're looking at, instead of $110 million, we're looking at, mid 50s to $70 million now for a jail. So I appreciate you guys understanding the county's position and working with us on that.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah. And the second point I wanted to make is that as commissioners, one of our main responsibilities is we oversee the buildings in this county. And I know I'm speaking for President Middlesworth when I say when we came into office, we did not come in and say, yes, first thing I want to do is build a new jail. That was not it. This is something that we would rather not even be dealing with. However, this was the hand that we were dealt with. These were the cards we were given when we came into office. If anybody thinks that we do not need a new jail, all you got to do is get a hold of Sheriff Garcia. He will give you a tour and he will show you the state of our current jail. At one time, a couple years ago when I came into office, I believe, don't hold me to this, but I believe we had the fourth oldest jail in the state of Indiana. And 2 of them that were ahead of us were in the process of building new jails. So it's very possible that either now or in the foreseeable future, we're going to have the oldest jail in the state of Indiana. And as commissioners, again, our job is to oversee the buildings and to provide safe working conditions for the employees in the county. And me personally, and I'm pretty sure I speak from President Millsworth. For me personally, I do not feel we have that with our current jail. So that's why Mr. Frye is here, kind of presenting different options for us. And hopefully we can come to some kind of resolution. Also, if we don't do something pretty soon, and you can ask Vigo County, Howard County, and Allen County, the state of Indiana and the Department of Corrections will step in, and they will say that we're not doing enough with our jail conditions, and they will step in and make us build one at their cost and at their parameters and the way they want it done. We won't have any control over that anymore. So I just want to say that real quick.
Good point. One thing I want to point out with here is, at the end of the day, BW, DCCM, again, our team, whichever option you choose, it's got to be what's best for you. We're not pushing hey, this is more expensive, let's go with that. We want what's best, but I do want to point out, and I've had conversations with multiple people on this because I see it all the time. This isn't the first time we've done a jail project. I've been a part of 8 in the past 6 years, personally, but it's easy to say, hey, that's expensive, because jails are expensive, right? It's easy to say, well, we need programming, we need to support our people, which you do. You want, your people to be good standing citizens and get the help they need to get back in the community. If you go talk to the communities that we've worked in, and Hancock's an easy example because it's a pretty successful story that they've had, you can't do it without the space to do it in. Let's get programming. Well, Sheriff Garcia has programming, and he can't effectively do it where he's at. As you make this decision, the easy and quick is, let's go renovate here. But is that the long-term best interest of the county, given the fact that, and I think Sheriff Garcia would say this, your average inmates right now have been hovering since we've been involved around 380, right? We're not building 380 beds next door if we do that. So having the opportunity to help these people, space is critical to that. So it probably sounds like, hey, I'm pushing towards the other. I just want you to understand, what we've seen in other counties, we've been a part of one where we built a project that they took forever to get going, and we finally built it, and on day one, it was full again. So if you can afford something for the future, that would be my recommendation. Look at what that is. And then start on the programs now.
Yeah. And
there's 2 to 3 years of work ahead of us still.
And that's exactly what I was getting ready to say. The programs that you're talking about, these are programs to work with the inmates, and I'm generalizing here, but these are programs to work with the inmates to keep them from coming back. And as it says in here, it's going to take 3 years to build this jail. So you can work together putting those programs into place. Sheriff Garcia's already got them. He just doesn't have a place to implement them. But you can work together. It's going to take 3 years to build the jail. So while you're building the jail, you can fine tune and implement those programs at that time. Is that correct?
100% agree. And go talk to the other communities that have done it and have implemented it. I know a lot of people are interested in going back to Hancock County and talking to Sheriff Burkhart and the team of how did you do it? And Sanjay can speak to this if you ever need to, because he was a huge advocate in helping plan this space out, working hand in hand. I've never been a part of a project that had so many meetings with the sheriff and commissioners that were involved in that project. But he said it when we started the tour there. He wouldn't be able to do what he's done in that community with those citizens if he didn't have the space to do it in. It wasn't about the program. It was about the ability to execute it within the space. And jails are different animals. You got to be able to move people. You got to classify people. You got to do all those things. So my concern going down the path that we continue to go down is that you aren't necessarily solving all your problems with the first option.
I appreciate BW's work on this project, and obviously, when I ran for the commissioner position, the $120 million jail project was not very appealing sitting on the council. And, I was against building a $120 million jail. And then through the process of the beginning of last year and, leaving, one company for BW, and can we cut this in half and what does that look like? And I feel like we got to where we've got two projects potentially that both would probably work. One's more of a near-term thinking, one could be, long-term thinking. We heard early on, the location was always an issue. Like, we want to keep it downtown. I'm fine either way, wherever the location is. I think that was something that people had to adjust to, the thought. I think that's still going to be the mindset of, can they adjust to the travel time and things with the courts. And I think Commissioner Stewart's right, though. I mean, we've done all we can to keep the jail number down from a commissioner's perspective. Again, our role as county government is to maintain the buildings. I feel like that I don't think there's anyone that we could find that wants to put a bunch of money into the current facility. I think that'd be kind of foolish on our part. We done that years ago when I was on the council, and I don't see us doing that. I think we got to choose an option. We got to take it to the council. Obviously, the council's already implemented the correctional rehab public safety tax at 2/10. So that was a unanimous vote by the county council to implement that tax. So we know there's funding for a project, right? And so I think it's just going to be a matter of, tomorrow evening, present them the project. And then as commissioners, I just see us saying, okay, we would probably be okay with either project. I'm not going to speak for him. We just know that at the end of the day, this issue's not going to go away. You can close your eyes and think that the jail's not there, but crime's here, the jail's here, and as commissioners, we got to do our part to make sure that we're maintaining the building, that we're providing a safe environment, that we're building for the future. And I think we've done that to a great degree of cost savings mind thought, I guess. Like, how do you make it cheaper? And I think we've done all we can do. I think the part that is more of a struggle for me is you can always be, as a commissioner, we always have to be open-minded, because you can't say that this is all we're going to do, like nail down one idea and not be open-minded to the other ideas. I think that we've done a great job of being able to flow with all the ideas and try to, bring them all together and put the best foot forward. And I think that either project would be satisfying to me. I just know that it's not going to go away. And to Mr. Stewart's point, I don't want somebody telling us what we can build. And I know that the other counties are experiencing that, and that's not where I want to be. So I appreciate your work on it. I think, like I say, the next step would be for the commissioners to choose a project potentially, and then enter into the BOT agreement. It'll be interesting to hear what the council has to say. I mean, obviously, to get to this point, the previous commissioners and even us have spent a lot of dollars on design work, on studies, and there's no study that's saying that we don't need to build a jail. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I had dinner with a couple of friends a couple weeks ago. This jail project came up, and they said that, to paraphrase, they said, "Oh, you guys are just pro jail." They said that they used that comment 2 or 3 times, "You're pro jail." And I said, "I'm not pro jail. I said I'm pro keeping our employees safe, and I'm pro keeping the county out of lawsuits." So that's That's the best way to sum it up.
I think for me, the real eye opener was touring Hancock and hearing from the Hancock County Sheriff about the programming and about the space utilization. And so when you see it firsthand for yourself, it just like a, aha moment, right? And so, a big part of what we want to see is rehabilitation. We want the people in our county to be rehabilitated, not just, repeat recidivism. And so when I seen it firsthand, like, hey, this is working in that jail because he has the space, he can put the people that are programming together, and he has the room for the volunteers, and he can take a whole pod and move them to another pod for cleaning and maintenance. It was just like, okay, maybe we're thinking about this wrong, and why we have the social demographics different than Hancock County, and our poverty level here and different things are all different. I would like to be hopeful that maybe we can do some of those programs and plan for the next 2 years to get the programs implemented while the space is being created. But I think until you see it firsthand, you always don't have a real good idea.
Yeah.
So.
And I know Sheriff Burkhart's offered to come up, bring his key people that have helped implement those programs and talk to key leaders up here about what worked, what they learned from, what didn't work. And he's all about helping. So we appreciate it. And if you need anything in the meantime, let us know. And we'll be at council tomorrow and go from there.
Thanks for all your
thank
hard
you.
work.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Do you have anything else for the good of the world?
I did not.
Beth, have anything else?
Nothing.
At this time, we'll open it up for public comment. Come to the podium and state your name and address for the record, and we'll allow 2 minutes per person. Is there anyone online? I'll go ahead and close the public comment portion. Our next regular commissioners meeting will be Monday, February the 2nd at 10 a.m. right here. We have a Board of Finance meeting after this.
Yeah.
And we need to elect the president.
Yeah,
Vice
so
president.
you'll open the meeting, you'll take nominations for president, vice president, or
Okay.
president, and then whoever that president is will then take over the meeting, and then ask for a nomination for vice president, and then we'll conduct the meeting after that. Shouldn't take too long.
Okay, so we'll have a Board of Finance right after this. What time was actually scheduled for?
Either 11 a.m. or immediately following.
Barring
Want
a
to take a
10-minute
10-minute break?
10-minute bathroom break.
Okay. We'll be in recess. Thank you.